here.
I can just start going through them, and then we can just kind of discuss them as we go.
Yeah, that works. We're live now, so we can go ahead and start.
Okay. So for number 1, I got A, which was, I believe it's correct, because that's what it said at the beginning of the book and the depth in the explanation.
Yeah, that's what I have for. I'm pretty sure that's what I had for number 1. Let me.
It's comparing dollar figures from different points in time, right?
Right. Yep.
Because it relates what I have. The baseball to now.
Yeah.
And then number 2, I got A as well.
Yep.
And then number 3, I got D was the smallest.
Yep.
Category. And then changes in quality of goods. So it doesn't really change the CPI. So it's either A or C, and I'm pretty sure it's one of those two.
So change in the quality of good is I actually have D for that one, because it'll either increase or decrease the value of $1.
Right. Oh yeah, I have that for 11 where it talks about the goods deteriorates. Is
so
that
would be the change in the quality of a good, right? So if a good either improves or deteriorates, it's going to do one or the other with the value of $1.
Okay. Sounds
good.
So
would we like D for 4?
That's what I have, yeah.
And then 5, I couldn't understand how to figure it out, and I'm pretty sure it's just kind of something dumb, like 10% the answer.
Well, so the way that I calculated this is you have to look at the wheel, right?
Right.
And so food and beverage is only 15%.
Right.
So if those increase by 10%, it's only going to affect the overall CPI by 1.5%, because you're taking just 10% of the 15%.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Makes sense.
So it won't affect everything, because not everything's going up 10%, but
just the food and beverages.
Just the food and beverages. So that's why I came up with 1.5% at least on that, and that's the way that I understand it.
Okay.
Right. 10% of
of the 15.
15%.
Okay. Affects the overall CPI increase.
Okay. Number 6, I got B, 147.
Yep, that's what I have.
Number 7, I also got B, which is the price of basketball for current year.
Yep.
I got A.
Number 8, you had what now?
A.
I actually had C.
That's because it's a 2002 baseball bats.
From 2009 to 2010, you had 29% increase.
Yeah. So
what are your CPI numbers?
So here's what I have for that. So basically, what I did is you have to calculate what the total value is, right, for each year. Right. So 2008, I had 169.5. Then 2009, I used 186.5. And then 2010 was 219.
Right.
Okay. So what I did for the CPI is I used 2008 as the base year. So 2008 had a CPI of 100. 2009 had a CPI of 110.03.
Right.
And then 2010 actually had a CPI of 129.2.
Right.
And so if you take, oh, wait a minute though, hold on. I did my calculation wrong, because I did it based off of the increase from the previous year. Let me change that. I didn't do it off the previous year. I did it off of the base year for my percentage increase, right? That's incorrect, because it's just from the 1 year to the next.
Yeah, so if you go, 129 minus 110.03 divided by 110.03.
Divided by 100 times 100. Did I do that right still? So J, I'm just looking at my formula here. That. So I've got that one minus that. Minus that divided by that should give me that. what's going on? Let me redo my formula here.
You're good.
So you've got
So
your current minus the previous, right?
Right. Divided by the previous.
By the previous gives you an
Times
increase of 4. Correct. So I did that one inaccurately. So, all right, I'm good. A is correct.
Okay.
Just looking at the increase from 2009 to 2010, not 2008 to 2010, because that'd be your overall.
Right.
Cool.
Okay.
Number 9, I got D.
Same.
Okay. Number 10, I got D as well.
Yep.
Number 11, I got D, which I know it falls, but I wasn't clear if it increased or
Oh no. So when the price of the dollar or the good falls, the cost of living actually increases because your value of the dollar goes down.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So it's actually, I have C for that one.
So if it falls, it increases. If it rises, does it decrease then?
Yes, because the value of the dollar now goes up, so your cost of living will actually go down because your dollar's worth more.
Okay. Okay. I didn't get 12, and then 13, I got C.
I have C for 13 as well. So 12, most accurate statement. 70s.
And I was thinking it was either A or D.
Because is this going off of the...
Is this going off the figure, the graph?
Is it going off the index?
I'm not sure.
So based on the reading, it's in between the what was it?
Here's the two inflation generally together. Because this shows the GDP deflator and the CPI. In rate of inflation in the 70s.
So much of the 70s, real interest rates were negative. Inflation eroded people's savings more quickly than nominal interest rates. In the 90s, nominal interest rates were lower. But because inflation was much lower, real interest rates were higher. So that's in, where am I at on that? 11.2C. In conclusion, where's that up?
Well, D has, so where, I don't know what section I'm on here. I'm on some section of this. But it says that in the late 80s, 90s, and the first decade of the 2000s, both measures show low rates of inflation, which would be D or B.
Let's see. In the 70s, 80s, 90s.
Were they higher then? So
Yeah,
B.
in which one?
So if the 70s had a low rate of inflation, it's D. If the 70s had a high rate, then it's B.
Let me see. Where did I read? Oh, let's see. Let's see. The figure also shows. So this is in 11.2C. That's where I'm seeing anything about the 70s and 80s. There's a real and nominal interest rates. Inflation is variable. Real and nominal interest rates do not always move together. For example, in the late 70s, nominal interest rates were high, but because inflation was very high, real interest rates were low. So that's in the 70s.
So B.
So
in
nominal
GDP deflator and price index showed high rates inflation, and in the late 80s, 1990s, and 2000s both measured low rates.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh no, high rates. You said high rates, right?
Well, in the 70s, they were low. The real interest rates were low, but the nominal was high. And then in the 80s, by contrast, in the late 90s, nominal interest rates were lower, but the real interest rates were a lot higher.
But if you look at the graph, because it's asking about the GDP deflator and the CPI, and the graph on figure 11.2 shows that the 70s have a higher CPI and GDP deflator. And then graphically, it goes down in the 80s, 90s, and 2000. So I think the answer for it. I think we got it.
Okay.
So B for that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 12 is B. So 13, we were good at the 242.7. So, oh wait, no, that's 14.
No,
yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
number 14, I have C 242.7.
And how? I don't understand how to figure this out.
Okay, so what you have to do is you have to take your nominal interest rate, which is 7.3.
Right.
You minus the real interest rate, which is 1.8. So that gives you a total inflation rate now of 5.5. And you take the 230 and you multiply it by 1.055, and that'll give you the 242.7.
You take 235 times.
Just the 230, because you're looking at, you want to know what it is. So the actual you got to take from the year before, not the year that you're in.
Okay, so I go to 2012, take 230 times that by 1.5. 5%.
1 point, yeah.
1.055.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's the answer they're looking for.
So that should have given you 242.65, I think.
Yeah.
So that's how I came up to the 242.7.
Okay, I see. Okay, sounds good.
So, let's see. So 15 on, I don't have any answers for any of those. So we can work through them really quick, or
yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Because I don't understand 15.
So you have your food expenditures. So the real
2009
is 5,000, 2010 is 58, and 2011 was 6,600. But the 2011 dollar amount was really 5670.
Yeah.
So we need to. So then, let's see, because it gradually went up, right? Every year for the expenditures on food. That's what it's calculating it doing, right? Is that the way that we understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
$2,011 amount to. Crap, so we have to find out which one of these. Oh.
So we don't know the price level, right? So we got to figure out what the price level was in 2011 in order to answer the question.
Yeah.
So that's using the comparing dollar figures from different times calculation. That's what I think we should use. Does that sound right?
I would think so.
So we'd be comparing the 5670 and the 5,000?
Will's food expenditures and
so
Will's 2009 food expenditures in 2011 dollars is 5670. So amount in today's dollars is the 5670.
Right.
Right. And then on the other side of the equation for that, you'd have the amount in year 2009 dollars, which is 5,000.
So don't have a lot of room here. Okay.
I'm just trying to.
Equals. So the amount so that it's 5,000 times
The price level today, which we don't know, divided by the price level in 2009, which we do know, which is 160, right? So we're trying to figure out the price level today. So the first thing we want to do is divide out, minus out the 5,000, right?
Right.
From the,
Yeah.
from
So we'll
the
have
5670.
equals x over 160 times 160. So it's 670 times 160. Right.
So
Doing algebra.
that's a huge number. That can't be right.
No, that can't be right. Wait, is that? There's nothing left. We didn't. Well, that one makes more sense than this one, though. The example of her salary makes sense, but doing it this way. From your T to today's dollar. Well, wait. Not today's dollars, though. Maybe that's not what we want to do. Sorry, I'm just like, we actually need to know what the CPI is for 2011.
Do we need to take the 6,600 maybe? Right.
66 divided by the 5,000 times 100 to find the PPI for 2011.
Maybe. Why would we want to do that though? Let's see. Amount in today's dollars.
Okay, how do we determine the CPI? What's the formula for that one? I have to go back here. I didn't write it down.
Determining CPI, that's just 100 times the cost of basket current year divided by cost of basket in base year.
So if your current year is 2011, you divide that by your base year, which would be 2009.
Right.
And then you'd multiply it by 100. So you would take the 5670.
So then
equals that divided by 5,000.
It's 5670.
That times 100. That only comes out to 113 though.
Yeah, that's low.
What if we take the 6,600?
That comes out to 132, which is
and we
still
divide it by 5,000. That's 132.
Yeah.
So let's take this. So how does that work? So if you take 132 equals 5,000 times 132 divided by 160. No, that doesn't work because that comes out to 4125.
Is 11.
So
it won't work to bring it down because it's got to be higher. It's going to be higher. Well, that would be weird. Amount. I'm like, I don't even know. I'm gonna have to like read again.
Holy wheels.
I'm just trying to.
the price of the current year over the price. Yeah, that'd be just so. Which is doesn't add up. It's not 8%. Here's better than this year. Example. Oh, wait a minute. We need to do, to calculate the inflation rate, we need, okay, wait a minute.
Nominal minus real.
X 160 over 160. Yeah, you can't do that, Julie.
Oh, you know what? Let's just try this.
Okay. Will that even work? No, because that's just going to be under 100.
So yeah, let's figure out the inflation rate and try to see if we can prove A or B, and then kind of go from there.
Okay, that's what I was trying. So wouldn't that be, since we don't have the CPI, wouldn't it be X minus 160 over 160 times 100, right?
X minus 160. Because we need to calculate the CPI, right? So you're saying take...
But we would need to get the CPI first, because we don't know the CPI for year 2, for 2011.
For year 3, yeah. Or whatever that is, right? So we know it for 2009, 10.
Wouldn't it just be 132? Wouldn't that be it?
It could be, but then that just doesn't seem right to me. I don't know.
Right.
Well, because you still, from 2010 to 2011, you still increase.
Yeah, dollar amount.
Yeah.
Right? So take... How do you figure that out? Well, let's just do this.
Like, I feel like we're missing part of the question actually in this question.
So the inflation is like 13.8% from 10 to 11 based on the dollar amount. Because you just take 6,600 divided by 5,800. And it comes out to like 1.1379.
13.79, 13.8.
Yeah.
So do 168 times 13%? CPI?
Would that work? Would that work? Because that would give you your...
That puts it at 189. The CPI at 189, if that works to do that, and I'm not
So
sure.
let's do this then. So take 189, right? Let's plug that in there.
So that's year 2. So 189 minus 160 over 160.
Is it 189 or 188? 187.75.
I did by 0.13. So if you did it more specific than that, then it would be different.
I had to go by 1 point.
I did 1.137, whatever.
Okay.
So once, because it's, well, what's the, it's 165, no, 168. That's what I did wrong. Never mind. Help you put the right numbers in.
Oh, that gives me 191 then. If
Yeah,
I do
so 191.17. So then if you take 191.17 divided by 160 times 60 times 5,000, right? So equals that times 5,000. That's 5974. So that wouldn't be your 2,000. That wouldn't be your. That doesn't work out then.
But minus the nominal, what do we get?
What is the nominal on that one?
No, it wasn't the 13.
I have an idea. I don't know if this is cheating, but I have an idea. Shoot, where was? Video. Okay, so we're trying, like, okay. We want to know. I guess what's hard on this one is I'm trying to figure out what they're asking for, because we're trying to either determine the inflation rate or the amount of dollar equivalency, you know, for other years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm stuck on this, is I'm not sure what they're asking for, because it's like we have to figure out both to answer the question, to know which one.
All right. So
I jumped to 16 and figured that out. It's B.
16 is B.
Yeah. I just did it trial and error with like $95 times percentage. 500% would be 475. Then 100 minus 500% would be $20. So you'd have $20 purchased in 1955, and today it'd be $100.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
So 14.
It also just makes sense,
Right?
but which is nice. I'm trying to see if there's like a video on our resources page that can explain this to figure out 15. Because I'm kind of stuck on trying to figure out what they're asking for. All right, let's see if we can figure out 17. My brain just needs to redo something. Sometimes it just all I need. Candy bar costs 5 cents and 62. You know CPI for 62 and CPI for today. Which of the following would you use to compute the price of a candy bar in today's prices? So, oh, that was
5 cents and 62 times today's CPI divided by 62 CPI, right? So C?
Yep. I believe so.
this is today's price times today's CPI divided. Yeah.
Because it's the price of 62, right? To figure out which of the following would you use to compute the price of candy bar in today's prices? So yeah, it'd be the 5%. Yeah. So I think C.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's do 19 and 20. If nominal interest rate is 4% and the real interest rate is negative 2.5%, then the inflation rate is, hey, it's 4 minus negative 2.5.
So it's 6.5 because you're actually adding now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Suppose that over the past year, the real interest rate was 6% and the inflation rate was 4%. It follows that.
Okay. So the real interest rate was 6% and the inflation rate was 4%. It follows that the dollar value of savings purchasing power of savings increased. Increased 6% purchasing power.
Interest
rate.
So the nominal or the inflation rate is nominal minus real, right?
Yeah.
So on the reverse side of that, it would be if you have your inflation rate
is 4
is
equals X minus 6.
it'd be a decrease. How does that work?
10 equals the nominal. So the nominal is 10.
Correct.
So, and is the nominal the dollar? Because it's all the same numbers. It's just flipped. So,
Which one goes where is the question. So I think it's going to be 6 and 10. It's just a matter of, is it the dollar value increased at 6% and the purchase power increased at 10? How does that work? Where is it at?
I've been trying to search the book.
Let's see.
Is there
The
a search feature in the book? Can you just search for what you're looking for?
Yeah,
Super.
it's
You
awesome.
could just, yeah.
Where is that?
So when you go into the book, it's in the top right corner.
The little magnifying glass.
Blue magnifying glass. All right, real and nominal. If prices have risen while her money was in the bank, each dollar buys less than it did in case of purchasing power. No, that's not it.
So real interest rate is the growth in the purchasing power of a deposit or debit, and the nominal is the rate of growth in the dollar value.
Okay, so if the nominal is 10, the dollar value increases at 10%, purchasing power is at 6%, so it's D.
So D, yep.
Okay, and then 18, we haven't done 18 yet.
No.
Nope, we're shooting an 18 out of 20 right now.
Okay, do the nearest dollar real skills.
We could do some guesses, and I'll submit the quiz, and one of us can get an A, one of us can get an A minus, one of us can get an
I'm gonna read the chapter again before I answer the ones I'm stuck on. I'm gonna go back through it because I can't stand to not.
Let's try 18.
Is 18 the same to the nearest dollar? Will's 2010 food expenditure, 2009 dollar amount.
So that one we can calculate because we know all of the pieces to it. Because that one's just using the comparison value, right? So
right.
Yeah.
We know that in 2009 it was $5,000 times 168 divided by 160.
Right. Okay.
So 168 divided by 160. That times 5,000. So 5250.
5236.
Well, no, it was 5250. So
To the nearest dollar, Will's 2010 food expenditures in $2009. Oh wait, we got to go the reverse. We want $2009.
Right.
So we got to change out. So it's going to be the reverse, 160 divided by 168.
Oops.
And times
45.
5800.
Oh,
So 55, 5523, 524.
Yeah. C.
23.
Yeah,
Wait,
55,
5,000.
23, 81, rounded up to 5524.
Right, because this is 160 over 168, and we're multiplying it by 58.
Okay.
5523.8. Okay, that one made sense.
All right.
Okay,
15.
so we had everything except 15, right?
Yep. 15.
It's the same stinking numbers that we just did. I'm like, I just want to see the little problem.
Something stupid simple that we're just like trying to make this question way too complicated.
I'm sure that's it. Super obnoxious. But I'm looking, that's 2010 numbers, and we need 2011 on this problem, so that doesn't help us.
Yeah.
That'd be too easy. 2009 food expenditures and $2011.
I think we need to figure out the inflation. I'm trying to figure it out.
But see, we should be able to figure out the CPI, which we said was 191, right?
Well, because it's the cost of the basket in the current year divided by the cost of basket in base year. So we have to determine what's the base year, though, because you have 160 and 168.
True. We used 2009 as the base year when we.
But that may not be the base year because there may be another year further up the line that's at 100. Because the base year is usually at 100, and then you work your way up from there.
Right. Makes sense.
Well, so then how would you figure out the CPI if you don't know what the base year is? I thought you could use any base year. Like in the book said you can pick one.
Well, we should be able to, but if you already have a year for 160, like you already have 160 and 168, then those years have already been computed, right? So
Right.
if you use 160, you'd have to recalculate your CPI for 2010 as well. Right? So let's see. Let's see. What's the 2010? That's 5,800.
I got 13 as that CPI. 113.
So if you use 2009 as the base, right?
Oh, I was using 2010 as the base. Sorry.
So
I was going
5,800 divided by 5,000 equals that times 100. So your CPI now for 2010 would go to 116, and your 2009 would be at 100.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, kinda.
So then we could calculate. So let's say 2009's the base year. So that one's got to be at 100. So now we've recalculated 2010. So it's the 5,800 divided by the 5,000,
right.
multiplied by 100, which gets you now 116.
Yeah.
And now we can calculate the CPI for 2011. It's the 6,600 divided by 5,000 times 100.
I'm just trying to figure out if this is going to even help us solve the problem, or if we're just.
Is it going to? I don't know. But the CPI for that would now be 132 if 2009 is the base.
Right. Which we had earlier, but But that brings, oh, well, let's still take it.
And it was 56.70, right? Is what he spent. Is what they
Yeah.
said it calculated out to.
Yeah.
So 5,000 times 132 divided by 100. That comes out to 6,600. That doesn't work. Blah.
One.
I linked them earlier to my computer.
Wait, if we know this year minus that's inflation 32%. No, that wouldn't work. Okay, we've already tried to figure out the expenditures, the dollar amount for 2011 to 2009 to see if C or D would work. 2011 food expenditures and $9 amounts to. Okay, that's the dollar for dollar. Oops. No. Okay, that's this section. So we've already done this. Amount in today's dollars is the amount in. Okay, the amount. If today's 2011, the amount of today's dollars is 5,000 times. I don't know the price. Unless we say it's one. Does this one give us anything good? Right. All right. Well, we have most of them. So, do you want me to input the quiz and kind of see where it's at? I can't see the answers yet, though. It drives me nuts.
I legit will take a guess if you guys have a.
I'm totally like, I don't even know. I'm 16. I'll be honest.
I'm thinking it's either A or B is my guess.
Yeah, so that we need to get the inflation rate. Or sorry, well, let's see. Would the consumer price index being 11.8% higher make sense? So, like, what was the percent of change from 2009 to 10? Is that like, that might make sense.
Yeah, so 168 minus 160.
A 5% inflation rate from 9 to 10.
Right.
So we'd be saying it'd be going up another 6.8%. I mean, that makes sense, I think.
Was it 5% or was it 13?
From 2010 from 2009 to 2010.
Okay.
Minus 160 divided by 100 is 5%.
It'd be 13% from 10 to 11 if 11 was 191. But see, I don't know that it's right now. I can't remember how we got to 191. So.
Well, we got to 191 based off of the 13.8%. Because what we did is we took the $2011 amount, divided it by the $2010 amount to come up with what that percentage difference was, and it's 13.8%. So I don't think that the increase, I guess the CPI could be 11.8%. So if the CPI, it'd be 160 times the 11.8, right?
Yeah.
Oh, 1.18. That comes out to 178.8.9.
Right.
So if you were to plug that in to try and calculate out the food expenditures in 2009.
Divided by 168.
Add up.
So that would be an inflation rate of 6.5%.
Yeah, but see, if we use the CPI of 178.8, which is the 11.8% increase, it doesn't get to the 56.70. It's short by like $80.
Yeah.
So what if we did an inflation rate? So 168 times
inflation rate of 8%.
Yeah,
1.08. That gives us 181.44. Then what does that give us?
Then you just take 181.44. It's 56.70.
Oh,
inflation rate 2011 was 8%.
Then that adds up.
That adds up.
How did we figure that out?
So you use the I use the comparing dollar value figures, and basically we took the amount in year T, which is 2009, so the $5,000.
Yeah.
Multiplied it by the CPI that we came out at the 8% inflation rate, which was the 181.44. Divided it by the 160, because that was the CPI of 2009, and that came out to 56.70.
Okay.
So trial and error works.
Hold on, I got the 107 2000. What was it? 181.44
divided by 160.
Look, I did it wrong. That's what I just. Okay, holy crap. Times 5,000. There it goes. I just hit the wrong button the first time. I'm like, something went wonky. Okay. We got it. So it's B.
Yes.
Good job.
B. We got an A. 20 out of 20 on the quiz.
Did you already do it?
Yeah.
Done.
Oh, sweet.
20 out of 20.
What? 20 out of 20. Nailed it.
We got it.
Well, it took like a half hour one stupid problem. But okay, cool.
All right. Well, good job, guys. Thank you.
Hey, yeah, we'll see you guys next week, or some of you.
Oh yeah, so next week, Kyle's gonna host because I'm going to be flying. I'll be on a plane at the time of our meeting. So rather than change the meeting time, unless you guys are up for changing the meeting time, then
it will be President's Day. Also, do you guys want to change the meeting, or do you care?
I know I'm gonna be out of town. I leave to go out of town on Wednesday, but I'll be home on Monday. I just don't know what time I'll be back.
So do we want to have this meeting Tuesday instead at 9:30, just before we have to turn it in?
Well, we have to submit it by. Well, I guess
11.
we have to submit it by 11, right? So that gives us a little bit of time.
Kind of tight, but we could have the meeting at 9 on Tuesday, or that's earlier for you.
That's fine. 8. That's fine for me too. I mean, it's earlier for me as well. It's 8 o'clock my time, but.
Oh, okay.
Oh, where are you today?
I'm in California.
Oh, okay. What if could you guys do Sunday night instead?
Sunday night? Yeah, I could probably do Sunday night. I don't know exactly where I'll be at Sunday night, but I'm sure I can make it work.
Yeah.
So, do one of you just want to send an email out to the group and see what everybody else says, and then we'll figure it out from there?
Sure.
Yeah. Let's see if we can do Sunday at 9:30 because I have a fireside that night, but I'll be back by then, and then I'll be in town.
Okay.
Okay.
At least that means I only missed one. So let's try Sunday at 9:30. If that doesn't work, then we'll just have Kyle host on Monday like normal. If that's better for everybody else, and we'll just who is here is here.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Cool. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
All right. Bye.